Okay, so this time we're taking darks. So this is, again, Starlight Live is being used to capture the darks. There's Starlight Live, 30-second darks. And I've just named them here, dark something. And then Jocular picks up on that name and automatically knows that it's dealing with darks. One thing that it does when it's dealing with any kind of calibration frame is to change the controls, the positions of, for instance, the black and the white point and the stretch and so on, to reflect, the best way to observe the darks and so on as they're coming in. So this has got a very strong stretch on it. It's the hyper stretch, as we can see there. If I was to put it on linear, for instance, we would see something that looks like a dark frame. So this is really bringing it up to the contrast right up in case we want to spot any problems. So say that this is automatically determining the dark. Now the one thing I have set here, I've got a thermometer here, which I always have with me when I'm doing observing. And one thing that's important to set is the temperature. And also, although the exposure is automatically calculated, that can go wrong, particularly if you're making a video, as I am at the moment. It tends to delay the timing for some reason. So it's a good idea when you're taking darks, since they're going to go into a dark library, to actually set the exposure yourself automatically, manually, and the temperature, of course. So basically, as soon as this exposure finishes, just in the same way as with the flats, this will create a master dark, and it will be available to me immediately in the calibration library, and then it will get applied automatically. In fact, what we can do while this is coming in is just take a quick look at the calibration library. So these are the things that I've got in there at the moment. So if we look at the creation date, this is one that was collected just a few moments ago. This is the flats that I showed you a few moments ago. So there's already an entry in there. It gives me the exposure time, although that's not very important, and temperature. But, the number of subs, for instance. So I'm going to let this go for a bit longer. It's nice to have good quality darks. Maybe something like 15 frames, or something like that. And then all I have to do is either start observing, in which case the scope, the Jocular rather, will recognise the change of file name, basically, and therefore know that it's got to save this as a master dark, or I can just hit new observation at any point, which essentially does the same thing. It prepares the scope, prepares the tool for new observation, and thereby saves the previous observation.